Welcome to the Startup of the Year podcast, where each episode we showcase exciting new companies from around the world. This podcast is produced by Established, creators of the Startup of the Year program. Established is focused on helping organizations with their innovation, startup, and communication strategies.
Hello and welcome back to the Startup of the Year podcast. I'm Frank Gruber, your host. I'm also the co-CEO of Established, as well as the managing partner at Established Ventures. Excited to be here and excited about our guest today. If you joined us down in Austin, Texas, at the Established House, you may have seen this live. It was a great conversation with Isaiah McPeak. He's the CEO of Green Pants Studios. He's really interesting. He's helping people bring their ideas to life and create winning products, and obviously communicate them more effectively. So he's an author, he's a debater, which we're going to talk a little bit about. He's a product strategist, and he's obviously a startup leader, and really had a good conversation with him. So I hope you enjoy this conversation. As I said, it happened down at the Established House, which they were also a supporter of, down in Austin in March. And this is our third or fourth year of doing Established House. Before that, we've done TechCo and Startup of the Year and all sorts of different branded houses down there, generally during the big festival. And but before we get started, before we jump into that conversation, I have one thing I wanted to share with you. Actually, two things I want to share with you. The first thing, if you haven't joined already, I'd love to have you join our Established Network. We launched it recently. It's a network for entrepreneurs, investors, thought leaders, as well as corporate innovators and government agency folks. And it's a place where we're all going to collaborate and try to help each other advance our endeavors. So go check that out and go to established.network. It's just simple. It's just established.network. It's all spelled out. I guess .network's a domain now, which is pretty cool. So we got that, established.network. And you can join it. It's free. People have been jumping into it, and we're doing some fun things over there. Especially if you're one of the early folks in there, there's gonna be some advantage to that. So get on in there. What are you waiting for? All right. So with that, I wanted to mention that we launched a monthly innovation circle, which is a new event, virtual event that we kicked off in March, and we're doing it every month, the third Thursday of every month. So you can go sign up for that at est.us/themike 2025. So again, est.us themike 2025, and it's the monthly innovation circle, but the abbreviation is the Mike, and so makes it pretty easy to remember. So anyway, we're going to be doing that every third Thursday, as I mentioned. So coming up April 17th, we've got one May 15th, we've got one June 18th, because it's supposed to be on June 19th, which is Juneteenth, and we had to move it up a day because it's a national holiday. So we'll continue with that kind of timing over the next several months, and continue to bring guests and whatnot onto the call. So it's a really great opportunity for cross-pollination and learning, and it's been great so far. So I hope you can join it and make it even better by having your presence there. All right, so without any further ado, talked a little bit here. Let's jump into the conversation with Isaiah McPeak. Next up, I'm really thrilled to have Isaiah McPeak here today to talk to us a little bit about what he's been up to for the last decade or so, probably 2 decades right now. I've lost track. I'm at least 2 decades old. Turn it up. Turn it up.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm at least 2 decades
there
old.
There we go. He's the CEO of a company called Green Pants, and he's also a master at taking ideas and turning them into action. And I'm excited to learn more about what you're up to and kind of where you're at. But the winner, obviously, from this will get a chance to talk to Isaiah. So, all right, let's just jump in here. Before we get going here, everyone didn't hear this? These will be out as podcasts on Startup of the Year podcast. If you go to podcast.startupofyear.com, you can subscribe and get these as audio, or you can go to our YouTube and get them as a video later. So they'll be out there for everyone to consume and learn from. And that should be about it. So, all right. So real quick, I wanted to just start with a quick, because I know you've done a lot. You're an author and you've done a bunch of different things. Yeah. In one sentence, how do you describe yourself?
A debate coach who can't get paid doing that, so I build companies instead, and then go coach students at night. Yeah.
Nice. A debate coach. I didn't expect that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I've coached speech and debate for 20 years. I have a debate team in prison right now. We just had a tournament last week. Yeah.
Did they go to prison after the debate or before?
Yeah, right? Yeah, we had to have security and stuff to let another college come into prison and facilitate a debate tournament behind bars.
That is really interesting. I did not expect that. That's really cool. So
and then that you've turned that into now actually helping companies and people that have ideas. And let's talk about your process a little bit.
Okay.
Like what's the perfect situation for you for a company to come to you, and how would you address that?
Okay, yeah, I've done a few turnarounds and designed a bunch of products from scratch.
Yeah.
And what we really find the perfect person is somebody who's hired their friend who knows coding or is like thinking about giving away 50% of their company to some technical CTO, and like, no, don't do that. There's like 4 kinds of CTOs, and the one that you need now is not the one that you're going to need in 3 years. And you don't need to give away all your equity unless you're like literally inventing the blockchain or VR or something like really technical. You probably just have a business process, and you can probably just do some design and like really low level validation work and use overseas engineers to get really far to your next fundraising milestone and still own a lot of your company.
So that's one of the bigger mistakes you see, is you see people giving away too much too early and not
time.
realizing that there's other options.
Yeah, and then a year and a half down, they're like, oh, we haven't fully shipped this, or we don't know how to scale it, or we end up with these different problems, and they're stuck with a technologist or engineer who's like...
Has equity.
He owns half the company.
Right.
And doesn't know that he doesn't know how to take it to the next level.
So that's a tough conversation.
It's really paralyzing.
So now you have to use words to explain to that person maybe that's not the right thing. And you're
Yeah.
big on words because you are a debate leader, right? Like you know
Yeah.
how to debate. So tell me how like language and storytelling kind of plays into that, and how it all kind of ties back to debate.
What I've really learned about the best form of debating, and it really bridges into sales, is you have to activate something in someone else. So persuasion is not something that one does to another person. That's the lowest form of persuasion.
Right.
Persuasion is being able to ask the right questions or frame a problem well so that the other person makes a discovery. And so when you're navigating
So make it their idea.
Yeah, so it must be their idea, right? Like the idea just exists up there in the sky. If it's ever yours at any time, then there's natural resistance to accepting it. But if you can find a way to put the idea out there and help them look at it, and you look at it, and together like, wow,
Eventually maybe they'll get it.
Yeah.
Right? And then the light bulb.
Yeah. And so a lot of the storytelling for the early founders is to help them see how other companies failed from this problem, and just tell them a story of this startup from the graveyard or that startup from the graveyard or this one that made it. And they're like, oh, I see my own story there. And like, okay, well, what are you going to do about it?
So let's frame that now around startups, for example.
Sure.
If you've got a pitch that's kind of really confusing or something, you hear a pitch, how do you turn that into a compelling kind of story or connected story that could actually help propel that to raise funding or close the deal or whatever it is?
Yeah, so the work that I do with pitches and VC stuff is the same as with any blog or social media post, which is you have to be able to answer the question, why should this person do this thing? And until you can take their perspective, you're never going to be able to articulate the value. And once you can, it's either there or it's not. And the same is true with product design. Like, what is the actual value that the person is going to experience by using this product? Until that becomes extremely clear, if not emotional, there's no compelling reaction. Same is true for the investor. Why is this going to be your best bet into this particular industry or this particular trend that you're excited about? If I don't have that story to tell why it's literally the best take on this industry, then they're never going to find that themselves. I have to find that answer.
So with that, what's the biggest mistake you see people make along like on the communication of the story, or like just?
I think the biggest mistake I see people make in the fundraising story is they think that they're going to pitch 1 or 2 times and get money. It's like, no, you're going to have about 90 people in your CRM for sales, and you're going to not close the deal on the pitch. The pitch is the final moment because you've been building relationships for 2 months that allow you to get in the room at this one point with people who have already told the story to the other people who are there. The decision makers already know your pitch. But they just kind of want to see your conviction in this moment and ask you a few questions. And then you're going to go through the whole due diligence process, right? It's like a huge, long process.
Right.
We sort of idolize the pitch moment. But for me, the pitch moment is not the moment.
Right. And we've seen a lot of people struggle. They've got great ideas, but they can't execute, right? So they can't. How do you get that out there in the world? So what are some ways that you've seen or you advise people to kind of take that idea and execute in a way that would like actually close that gap, make it happen?
Yeah, whenever I train at accelerators, I do the same talk every time pretty much, because it's what can you do today, like right now, like this afternoon, to get real validation? Because what I find is most people are trapped in this idea world of the 1,000-person scaled thing, and they're like behind their computer making a landing page, and they're going to drive a bunch of traffic. I'm like, no, literally walk outside that door right now. Who is your ICP? Ask one person. Do you know anybody like that? and you will get a door open by the afternoon, and you will have a conversation with an ICP by this afternoon, and you need to be asking these questions. And I will like work with the 5 or 6 startups in the room at these places, and they'll say, I haven't talked to a real customer in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks. Like, well, just drop what you're doing and go do that, because you're going to show them a design, you're going to get a reaction, you're going to change it, and then get right back out there and do that again until this has some momentum.
So that's what you guys do at Green Pants, and you try to take basically okay ideas and turn them into actual winning.
At Green Pants, we try to make the product be something you don't think about while you're out there doing validation, right? Like, it will just work. Yeah. But by the way, we're not going to overbake this cake right now. And so I'm often having this conversation of like, no, we're not going to take $500,000 or $300,000 or even $75,000 and build an MVP. Mm-hmm. We're going to take $3,000 and we're going to build you a design of just the 3 core screens that make this, mm-hmm. and then we're going to help you have ideas for how to have 10 to 15 conversations with prospects about these screens in the next 2 weeks. And by the end of that 2 weeks, you'll know, is this worth doing? And
you get the validation, and you're actually talking to customers and or people, which
that's
is
right.
part of it.
That's right.
You're actually trying to figure out, you're not in a silo anymore.
That's right.
Okay, that's great. I love it. We've got some fans back there in Green Pants too. All right, so AI is obviously changing a lot of how we're seeing and doing things. How do you see AI fitting in with like the work that you're doing, and or how do you approach it?
I'm a fan of boring businesses, so I think whenever there's a new category, and we've seen lots of new categories happen over the last 20 years, people who race to the category because it's the category typically have an engineering mindset and a solution in search of a problem mindset. Far more interesting to me is like, well, we're building a travel app. Is there an AI application? Let's sprinkle some AI in here. But not very interesting like, hey, let's all get together and make an AI app that has to do with travel. No, that's a solution in search of a problem. Don't force it.
All right. So what? Is this, hello? Can you hear me? Okay. So we're about at time here. I wanted to ask you one more question about like, as you're here at in Austin, folks are here for South by Southwest, and maybe somebody has a really good idea that they want to get out there in the next 6 months. Yeah. What advice would you give them as you're kind of in their path? Like, what should their next steps be immediately? My advice is don't get advice from people who have never built a business. You have a lot of venture capitalists out there willing to shoot from the hip and give advice, and a lot of people who say they've done a startup before, but they were employee like 6 or 7, and they don't know the first 2 years that it takes to get to that point. And you have those people don't know what it takes to build a business and have offer fit long before product market fit. Instead, you need to do the lowest fidelity version of everything. And I love coaching founders. You can make I've designed entire products on index cards, and gone out there and user tested them on index cards. You can low fidelity do all the work yourself without a brand person, without a marketing person, without a product person, without a venture capitalists. Get that first bit, lo-fi, cheap tools, and do it in a couple weeks. I like that idea. All right, so with that, any last things you're doing that you wanted to share with the audience that we haven't talked about? Things, what are you most excited about? Well, one of the things that I'm excited about is we're actually building this marketplace, which is the hardest possible category. Marketplaces are the hardest possible category of SaaS. Two-sided. That's the problem. Like there's two. Exactly. Yeah. So you have to have a complete funnel on one side, complete offer set, complete product market fit, and a complete funnel on the other side, and those have to match up and create another offer set between the two. Yeah, it's hard. It's freaking hard. Yeah, it's very hard. So you're building that out? Yeah, we're building one for John Paul DeJoria, who's a Shark Tank investor and billionaire in town, and it's like really different because I've studied lean startup my whole life. It's really weird to have somebody who's like, I'm like, hey, we need to do some validation with Amazon or with eBay. He's like, okay, would you like to talk to the CEO? I'm like, no. Like 9 levels down from that is what we need. So that's been a really fun experience, and something I'm really excited about is working in those circles. Excellent. And you're going to be around, right? If people want to talk to you, like they can look for the green pants. Yep. There he is in the bigger screen. If you can't see him from back there, he's and you're going to basically be talking to them if they want to do some Q&A or talk about their product or whatever they're trying to do. Yep. Also, if you hadn't yet, you can go, there's that opportunity to win the consulting with you guys. Yep. Really appreciate you guys supporting today. And I obviously want to give here a round of applause here for Isaiah and Green Pants. Thanks so much for being here.
All right, thanks so much, Isaiah. Really appreciate it for joining us and supporting our event at Established House. Anyone interested in continuing to support the Established House, please do reach out to me. Reach out to us at Established, and you can go to est.us and connect directly. They've got a contact form there, and connect with us. And we'd love to hear if you're interested in working with us. All right. next, I wanted to just tell anybody that's out there that's got an idea and that's listening, remember, there's no better time than today to start it and get your journey going. You're going to learn a lot along the way, and we hope that we're here to help you in any way we can via our network and some of the resources and support that we offer to get that thing to the next level. So again, join the Established Network. It's a great start. Just go to established.network, join our monthly innovation circle as well. That's another great way. Being here in the pod is a great step as well. You're learning about all these things we're doing, and really appreciate your time and you being here and being a listener or watching us on YouTube. All right, until next time, I'm Frank Gruber signing off. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Startup of the Year podcast. Be sure to subscribe and we'll be back with another episode soon.